Take a second look at your grocery list after hearing this report from the FDA. The agency tested food for industrial man-made chemicals. The FDA found substantial levels of chemicals in meats, seafood, and off-the-shelf chocolate cake. Researchers say there was an association between the compounds and people's health risks, but they couldn't prove that the compounds were the cause of those risks. The growth of CBD could soon make its way to your freezer. The makers of Ben & Jerry's ice cream plan to start selling CBD-infused ice cream as soon as they get the green light from the FDA. Now, CBD doesn't give you that high feeling that marijuana does, but the federal government has yet to say it's safe to add to food and drinks. We are now in the swing of a busy travel season, and it won't be uncommon to find overbooked flights. They've been a problem to the point where people have had to be physically taken off planes because they wouldn't give up their seats. Well, now a few airlines are trying to do away with the problems that come with overbooked flights. American Airlines just rolled out a new feature on its app. Passengers can now use the app to voluntarily bump themselves from an oversold flight with all the benefits and without stepping foot into the airport. Passengers can enter how flexible they are with their new flight. American Airlines passengers already get a text before they get to the airport alerting them that their flight is overbooked. United has had a similar feature for a few months now. The airline's app will let users know their flight is overbooked once they open it. Passengers can enter a bid of what they'll accept in order to get bumped off the flight, and it can be in the form of miles or credits. Travel bloggers like The Points Guy and Thrifty Travelers say that during peak travel times, passengers may end up getting more rewards because fewer people will be willing to give up their seats. But on the other hand, the more benefits you ask for, the less likely you'll be to be bumped off of a flight. Rent keeps getting more expensive, so companies are now offering to front your rent so that you can make your payment on time. Tomorrow we're looking at how these renter loans work. They sound pretty tempting, but there are some things you need to watch out for as well.
Here's the good news. Beautiful evening in progress. Sun doesn't set until 9:08. 58 will be the temperature overnight, about 10 degrees warmer than some of the outlying spots. 82, that's your high tomorrow. Small chance of rain. We'll talk about an increasing chance here coming up. That's all for the Now Indy. The news at 6 starts right now.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Now it's 6. Police say there's been 10 shootings in downtown Indianapolis since May 1st. It's a shocking number, but what's behind the uptick in violence? I'm Paris LaBelle. We're live tonight looking into the issue and now what's being done about it.
Viewers came with questions and we went digging for answers. Drainage issues in Kokomo. I'm Stephanie Wade with what the city has to say coming up.
Dry for now, but a daily chance for showers and thunderstorms returns. We'll talk about what comes with the wet weather.
And we begin now at 6 o'clock with a spike in violence in downtown Indianapolis. The numbers are staggering since May 1st. 10 people have been shot in downtown Indy.
And so let's put this all in perspective. Last year, there were only 4 people shot in downtown Indy for the entire year. This weekend alone, violence erupting once again, leading to multiple people shot and 1 killed. RTV6's Paris LaBelle has been digging into those numbers and what's behind them. He's live this evening on the Canal. Paris, good evening. Fill us in. What is behind the numbers?
Raphael and Amanda, good evening to you. It is extremely concerning for police and the community alike, and violence is being seen in places it hasn't been before, like along here, along the Canal.
West Walnut, Collins City, they heard at least 10 shots. Sounded like it came from the playground along the canal.
Just after 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, shots ringing out through downtown.
It's very concerning, especially with like the neighborhood. Again, like the canal is a friendly place to come.
Shots fired along the canal. I heard them from my apartment. It's a rifle. There was probably about 10 to 15 shots. Multiple people were running.
This weekend's homicide adding to an uptick in violence around the downtown area. Police reports now showing 10 people have been shot since May 1st.
Back then and now, the rate has just increased and it's got higher and higher.
The area along the canal has become a major focus for police after 3 people were shot there last weekend.
Would like that part to be a little bit safer.
But more fights are happening in the area, and some groups are even arguing with police, like in this video shot on a cell phone just after 2:30 a.m. on Monday.
There's like no shame. they do it in front of everyone else, and it's heartbreaking.
Lachey's grandmother has lived near the canal for 27 years. She says the violence, especially among the youth, has gotten out of control.
Especially if you're out here with your kids or with your family, and someone's just out here firing shots. You know, a bullet doesn't have a name on it, so you never know who could get hit with it.
She says there needs to be a grassroots effort with the community to help stop the violence.
You know, you have a lot of kids now, they're so quick to fight.
But what's actually behind the uptick? We went to Downtown Indy Incorporated and Metro Police. Downtown Indy says they're working with the police department to identify problems, but downtown is still very safe.
The downtown district crime stats not only are the safest in Marion County, actually our downtown is one of the safest across the country. Yeah.
IMPD says they have more resources and police officers per square mile in the downtown area than anywhere else in the city. And so far, all of these incidents have been isolated.
There are police officers everywhere downtown, especially on a Friday and Saturday night.
They say most of these shootings have been over simple arguments that have turned to gunfire.
Don't handle it yourself. Don't get mad and get upset. That's when things usually start heading in a bad direction.
Metro Police say they are adding presence of police officers to the downtown area. They say there are a number of officers already assigned to the downtown district, especially Friday and Saturday. That's the reason they had an arrest in the homicide on Saturday. They say an officer overheard those gunshots, was on scene about 30 seconds later, and was able to place that person into custody. Reporting live tonight, Paris LaBelle, RTV6.
Only on RTV6, Stephen Clay says he has no regrets resigning from the City County Council in Indianapolis today at noon. Clay drew criticism from his Democratic Party back in 2018 when he became council president by unseating the first African-American council president, Maggie Lewis, with the help of Republicans. Clay only served 6 weeks in his post before the Democratic majority forced him to step down. Clay decided this year not to seek a third term. And even though he's stepping down early, he plans to be active in the upcoming mayoral race.
I think voters have to become more sophisticated. Their expectations have to be higher. They cannot be obligated historically to a particular party. They must be willing to vote where their interests lie.
So will you be supporting a Hogsett administration?
I'm going to be supporting where my interests lie. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I support this mayor. I support his administration. But I have high expectations of this mayor. And he doesn't get a pass because he's a Democrat. He doesn't get a pass because he's a sitting mayor. We have high expectations, and we expect him to meet them.
By the way, Maggie Lewis was the first female African-American council president. Clay says he's stepping down now so his replacement will have a voice in the upcoming city budget talks. The Marion County Democratic Party says a replacement will be chosen within the next 30 days.
Flooded yards and streets in Kokomo. Two viewers who live in different neighborhoods reached out to RTV6 with this same problem. Our Stephanie Wade goes to the city to get to the bottom of this and see what they're doing to fix the street drainage problem for these people.
So at one point, is the whole street flooded?
Yes.
Neighbors along West Madison Street on Kokomo's west side are no strangers to flooding.
Seems like almost every week.
And it's the same for people who live along Zartman Road.
It's like the water stands for days on end, and then the kids want to come out, and we can't let them.
Neither streets have stormwater drains.
I believe there should be one here. There's not one down this street, and there's flooding right there all the time.
It comes up to about right there, and then it just seeps in over the foundation and goes in our bedroom and our downstairs.
Hearing about both of these issues, we came to the city for some answers. I found out for those on Madison.
We actually contracted that project out. Contractors have not been able to start on that work yet, though, because of the heavy amounts of rain we've experienced.
They're going to get stormwater drains installed very soon, within the next few weeks. But
the situation over on Zartman Road is actually a dispute between two property owners.
Those on Zartman aren't so lucky. The city's deputy mayor says the flooding problem there is caused by a damaged drain in the farm field behind their homes. And that's not on city property.
And so they need to work that out with the private property owner of that farm field.
Unfortunately, that's not what these neighbors were hoping to hear, wishing the city could step in to help.
We're literally standing in water.
In Kokomo, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph, for that. And the city says they do about 5 to 10 drainage projects a year in Kokomo. Right now, the downtown area has new sewer infrastructure going in that will alleviate combined sewer overflow. Stormwater drains are also going in on the southwest side of town.
A consumer alert. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources is warning anyone who purchased plants at 2 major retail chains across the state that those plants could contain a tree-killing disease. Hundreds of rhododendrons sold at Rural King and Walmart, they're being pulled. DNR says they're infected with sudden oak death, a fungus that kills oak trees. RTV6's Alyssa Donovan is working for you tonight to explain sudden oak death and what to look for if you've purchased one of these plants.
DNR says it doesn't take much for sudden oak death to spread. Planting one of those infected rhododendrons just about 6 feet from this oak tree can kill it. Rhododendron plants sold at 70 Walmart locations and 18 Rural King stores across the state of Indiana were found to be infected with the fungal disease. Those stores were ordered to stop selling the plants.
My staff are currently working through all of the Walmarts in the state of Indiana to remove those infected plants off the shelves.
DNR has destroyed 1,500 infected plants. Another 1,500 were put on hold. The fungus can spread quickly from host plants to oak trees. Sudden oak death has killed more than 1 million trees in California and Oregon. But DNR says the impact would be far more dramatic here.
It's just here in the Midwest that we've got such a large percentage of oak in our woods.
Unlike West Coast states, oak trees are a primary species in Indiana forests. Oak and hickory types make up more than 70% of our forested land. And forest product manufacturing is a $3 billion a year industry for the state. That's why DNR is asking anyone that purchased rhododendron from Rural King or Walmart stores, destroy the plants or contact DNR at 1-866-NO-EXOTIC. Infected plants will show symptoms like browning leaves and overall wilt. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Thanks, Alyssa. And school is out for summer vacation, but that does not mean you should take a vacation from reading. The Indianapolis Public Library kicked off its summer reading program today for kids.
If you give a pig a pancake, you'll give her some of your favorite maple syrup.
Indianapolis First Lady Stephanie Hogsett was just one of the celebrity readers who helped get the program started today. They are calling it Keeping It 100 because this is the 100th year the library has offered a summer reading program.
We really know from all kinds of research that if children don't keep reading over the summer, they are going to have slippage, if you will. They are going to lose some of the progress they made in the last school year.
The program runs through July 27th at all Indianapolis Public Library branches. Kids can sign up at any branch. The more books you read, the more points you get, which you can redeem for prizes.
It's a special offer for students who play sports at IPS. Tomorrow evening, IU Health will be providing free health screenings, which are required by the IHSAA. Again, this is only for IPS student athletes. It will take place at Crispus Attucks High School from 5 to 7. It includes blood pressure and vision checks, as well as a general medical exam. Still ahead on the news at 6, breaking down barriers to employment.
The company willing to give offenders a second chance at building a strong future.
And as we look back on 70 years on Channel 6 history, tonight a memory that takes us back to Mexico City Olympics and the lengths one staff member went to help out our very own Tom Carnegie.
And the month of June is here. That doesn't mean we've put the wet pattern behind us, though, that we had in May. Showers, thunderstorms will track along a stationary front. Since the front isn't going anywhere, then our rain chances won't either. I'll explain more coming up.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. RTV6 is committed to getting Hoosiers hired, and to help do that, tonight we're zeroing in on an employment barrier. We've received plenty of questions about landing a job if you have a criminal record. One organization prides itself on forgiving the past. Goodwill of Southern and Central Indiana acknowledges a fraction of its workers across all levels of personnel have a criminal record, but the company also says the majority of those employees have excelled and moved up in the company. Angel Beisdorfer is one of those workers. She was hooked on meth for 10 years and eventually she was arrested, convicted of a felony, and lost her kids to the state. When she left prison, she focused on turning her life around. She had a tainted criminal record, but that did not stop her from applying to jobs.
And when I did, then I had that criminal background, so I thought there was nowhere I could get a job, and then I got a job here with Goodwill.
We're not going to judge you, but you've got to be willing to take accountability, take responsibility, and want change. And then if you want that advancement, it's certainly a place to get that.
Well, Angel moved up the ranks in her 3 years at the company. She's now an assistant manager at an outlet store on course to run her own store. If you want to learn more about open positions at Goodwill or its criminal record guidelines, we've posted links in this story at hiringhoosiers.com. And we also want to tell you about a new feature on the Hiring Hoosiers website. It's a job board. You can look for job opportunities and employers can list their open positions. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com and click the job board link at the top of the page. WRTV Channel 6 just marked 70 years on the air on Thursday, and we signed on May 30th, 1949 as WFBM.
And our celebration continues as we share more highlights and memories from our alums who are proud to say that they worked at Indiana's first TV station. Back in 1968, WFBM sent a crew to cover the Olympics in Mexico. Indiana athletes, especially swimmers and divers who attended IU, made quite a splash, no pun intended, in Mexico City. Does the name Mark Spitz ring a bell? He won 4 medals that year, including 2 golds as part of the relay teams. Legendary Channel 6 sportscaster Tom Carnegie and producer Julio Chico Fernandez were there as well.
Well, the funniest thing was the Olympic people would only give us 2 credentials. One for Tom and one for the camera guy. I didn't have one. But I spoke Spanish and I knew Mexico pretty well. So I got in everywhere. I got into the Olympic village for the, the athletes village. I never had a credential. And with Tom, we didn't have a parking credential either. Well, Tom, was, with a polio, so it was difficult for him to walk. So the swimming venue was quite a ways from the gate. I bribed my way all the way to the front door and parked right there so Tom could have an easy access. And then I would go in, nothing, no credential. Can you imagine that today? Never happened. They would probably arrest me the first time they saw me walk in.
It helps to know a little Spanish every now and then. Now, how times have changed. And you heard Julio mention that Tom Carnegie and polio. Tom contracted polio at an early age, but that did not slow him down. He served as our sports director from 1953 to 1985 and traveled the world. That was in addition to serving as the voice of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for decades. You can find more memories and our 1-hour anniversary special, 70 years together. RTV6 working for you right now online. Just go to our website, theindychannel.com, and look for the 70 Years Together tab at the top of the page. I think I've watched that now 6 times since last week.
You can binge watch all of the individual stories from reporters to the complete package that was put together in that nice hour-long program. Get you through 7 decades in a hurry. Let's get you through the next 7 days. A theme will emerge pretty quickly, and that's a daily chance for showers and thunderstorms. Up in Howard County, 74 degrees. It's beautiful everywhere in all 92 Indiana counties. Comfortable temperatures, low humidity. That sun doesn't set until almost 9:10. Temperatures will eventually settle in the 50s tonight instead of the 40s. Many outlying areas were in the 40s this morning. Should be middle to upper 50s. The rain is well off to the west. Western Missouri, portions of Iowa, on up toward Minneapolis. No threat to us now. Our chance for rain tomorrow, just 20%. As we get to Wednesday and Thursday, rain chances go up, especially Wednesday, the most likely day. As we move toward the weekend, rain chances linger Saturday night, probably the most likely time over the weekend. As far as our rainfall potential, could see 2 to 4 inches of rain in portions of the state. Exactly where that's going to fall is still too early to determine, but certainly it looks like southern half and then maybe southern third of the state down to the south of the Ohio River. There, your temperature, 74 is average for this time of the year. We'll be in the low 80s thanks to this wind out of the south. You'll notice the humidity levels start to climb as well. A few thin clouds in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Not expecting any severe storms tomorrow. Not expecting any widespread rain. Most of us will stay dry. Definitely warmer. Temperature up to 82 in the metro area. More rain Wednesday, and it should be more consistent rain. You noticed at 6 a.m. some rain. There we are as we get to the mid-morning and then afternoon hours. Showers and thunderstorms. That's the best way to put it. I don't think we'll see washouts on any one day, but we'll continue to see periods of rain through the day on Wednesday. Temperatures making their move on 80 degrees. We'll get above that if we get a long enough break in the rainfall. There's some of the optimistic high temperature forecasts for Wednesday. Into the weekend, still low 80s. Saturday night right now looks like the most likely time for widespread rainfall. Some of that may be heavy. And on Sunday, 82 degrees, 40% chance for thunderstorms. Here's your 7-day planner. Temperatures in the 60s for lows, around 80 for your afternoon high. Wednesday's the most likely time for thunderstorms in the short term, and then that daily chance Thursday through early next week. May trained us for this first week in June, right? To get used to it.
We'll just have to get used to it. Kevin, thank you so much.
All right, Dave.
Hi, guys. Yeah, good evening. Technically, the high school basketball season isn't quite over. Not until the annual Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series wraps up. And guess what? It is back this week. So, to that end, the boys and girls All-Stars gathering at Marian University to get the weekend set. Game 1 Friday night down at Bellarmine University in Louisville. Then the series shifts to Bankers Life Fieldhouse Saturday night. And I'll tell you, what a roster for the boys. IU recruits Trace Jackson Davis and Armand Franklin. Purdue recruit Isaiah Thompson. Butler recruit John Michael Malloy. Former All-Star coach Mike Broughton is now the series director.
What is it about this series that makes it special?
Well, I just saw the Kentucky team beat our juniors last night. A bunch of them ran out on the court, and that just pretty much sums it up. It's a friendly rivalry, and of course, growing up in Southern Indiana, where I did, you know, we had a lot of Kentucky ties, and so you just want to beat them, and you kind of want to beat them at everything we do. But they're good people. It was very competitive last night. I'm sure this weekend they think they're bringing the best team they've had for years here too.
Love this series, and Mike Broughton pumping a little new energy into it as well. Saturday's game, Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Tickets start at just $7. Girls game at 5, boys game at 7. More tonight in our Sports Extra Spotlight. Meanwhile, a big week for USAC, the short track sanctioning body, hosting its annual Midget Week race series. 6 races and 6 nights. Begins at Montpelier tomorrow night. We'll have coverage all week long here in RTV6. Meanwhile, the busy stretch continues for IndyCar. Less than a week after the Indy 500, the series with its dual races up in Detroit. Scott Dixon won yesterday's race, while it was Joseph Newgarden who returned as the points leader with a win on Saturday. And I love the new tradition up there. The winner takes a dip in Scott Fountain, located just east of Victory Lane, built nearly 100 years ago. A lot of history there, which has found some new life now. And I tried to stay dry myself on the radio network.
Well, not only does Victory Lane come with a trophy here at Detroit, it comes with a towel.
It does.
And a dip into Scott Fountain.
Not enough towels to dry off after that. These race suits are not conducive to water, okay?
It's like a giant sponge.
It literally is holding gallons of water.
And now, here we are. Thank you. That's what I needed. A little chilly, huh?
It's cold, man. I'm waiting for the sun to come back out and warm me up a little bit. No, it's yeah, they need to put a heater in this thing.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
That was Blair Julian, by the way. Chief mechanic, the swan dive, not recommended. 8 races down, 9 to go. Newgarden retakes the points lead, 15 up on Alexander Rossi. Hey, finally tonight, first and foremost from the Speedway. More video now being released from the flyover before the Indy 500. This was the second half of the double flyover. F-16 went straight up into the sky. What a view. More of this, please. The News at 6 continues after this.
Signature lattes. America runs on Dunkin'.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah?
Richard, a viewer, nightly, sent in a picture of his dog, Breeze.
Uh-huh.
They live in Lafayette. Who's he named after?
Drew?
You got it. Ding, 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 ding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Temperature's comfortable tonight, 66.
We'll see you
Hello,
at 7.
Breeze. Good night. Breeze is cool.